Seatbelt.
Seatbelt, step out.
I'm opening the door.
You can take
I'm
mine
opening the
off
door.
of me right here on my right. I'm keeping my fucking hands up.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro.
Step out.
Can I move my phone?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Terrence Bud Crawford held at gunpoint by race soldiers. Israelite curses on display. This is Matthew chapter 5 verse 25. Agree with thine adversary quickly, whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. I open up with that precept because the situation that Bud Crawford was in goes to show you that so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans, who are the Hebrew Israelites, we are still under these heavy curses, despite the fact that we are really the creme de la creme in all aspects of life, but we're constantly being oppressed and pushed down because the Lord is punishing us for our sins, iniquities, our trespasses against him. Which is why we can prevail at anything, but we have to constantly be chopped down at the knees because we're God's people and no one can outdo us. Notice the world was against us and we still came out on top. How does a people that was in slavery for centuries, I say, for over a century and a half, I want to say centuries, can come out on top, create all your everyday needs, what I mean like your everyday inventions, excel at all the sports that you create. We have the most influence in the world. Like the world wants to be, like they say, everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga, right? Roughly paraphrasing. But before I proceed, I must give all my honor, glory, and praises to the Most High Yahawah and His only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, because the letter J did not exist 2,000 years ago, nor did English. Double honors to my elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Single honors to the elect. Peace and bless to the 1/3. And to the confusion that faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15 through 16. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Now, working in the city, you have, stores and outlets. Working in the field, you're working like in the agriculture or the horticulture essence of it, right? Well, Jake farmers, black farmers, so to say, whenever they had their DEI program and they cut all those funds off, a lot of Edomite farmers got hurt too on that situation. And then Trump tried to revise it, but the money that was redistributed, Jake don't get any of that. All right, there's a woman on YouTube called Farmer Nancy Farmer, beautiful sister, love her. Man, she be fighting against these race soldiers all the goddamn time. I think she's in Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Right, so you have a lot of black farmers out there, and they don't get that. That would mean by being cursed in the field, being cursed in the city, meaning the store. Especially amongst our people, you can't really keep a business running, especially when it's family oriented because of the curses. But we have a store opened up, and our people will not get the same love that an Arab or like an Ishmaelite will open up. Like, look at even all these smoke shops open up. Who run all these smoke shops? All these heathens, either the Ishmaelites or the Edomites. All the gas stations, Ishmaelites, the Edomites, beauty supply store. You have Moab and you have Ammon. All the nations against us, but we still stay on top. So if it's always an equal playing field, they can't outdo us. but they have to create laws and undermine us in a sense, which is why I'm doing this video on Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford he's a fucking world champion. He's the biggest thing that came up out of Omaha, Nebraska. Did I say it right? And you mean to tell me the same day, if I'm not mistaken, it was his birthday, that he was given a second key to the city by the mayor, who's also a Jake? He gets pulled over that same day by race soldiers, and they pointed guns at him. Notice he's in the car, the vehicle, how Adonis would say it, a vehicle, with his security team. And even the head of the security team has his hands, he said, on the ceiling. It's a video. Has his hands up on the ceiling and the roof of the vehicle, so you can clearly say they're compliant. And the firearm that he had, you couldn't see it because of the way he had it positioned, the way he was sitting. And then they were saying they saw a firearm on the ground. That's why they picked the That's why they draw their guns on him. But they pulled him over for reckless driving. Which, if you put him over for reckless driving, on the ticket it would have to show that you used the radar gun. They say he was speeding. That's why they said it was speeding, right? Then on top of that, you claim that you saw a weapon on the ground. That's why you drew your gun. Who the hell gonna be driving around with a weapon on the ground when he has his security team in the vehicle? It's not adding up, people, right? And everybody legally owned the gun there. But this was just a display to show you the power that Esau has and the power that we lack thereof. Because they did the same thing with Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson was beating their ass in the ring. What they telling you? You better not smile, boy. You better not celebrate after. He'll beat their ass, and what did Esau do? Esau went out and hung people. Muhammad Ali changed his name. They kept calling him Cassius Clay. They wanted him to go fight in a war. He said no. They made an example out of him. But guess what? He had Jake around him. And even for those of you who don't know, with Joe Frazier, he would fight against Joe Frazier. He was calling him monkey, ugly, all that in front of all them Edomites, them white folks. And guess what Joe Frazier did? He still gave Muhammad Ali money and still looked out for his family when they threw him in jail. They took away his belts and everything. Because Muhammad Ali said, I'm not finna go oppress another poor people. Them people didn't do nothing to me. They're pretty what I'm saying. So they let you know how much power you really do have in the outside the ring. Mike Tyson. Some whore lied and said that he raped her. And then when the dude, somebody in the interview had asked him sometime after about the situation, he said, if I would have known I was going to jail, I would have raped her and her mama. So that tells you everything. You know what I'm saying? Nothing, pretty much saying that I went to jail for nothing. You know, and then Floyd Mayweather, the quote unquote domestic violence abuse, they had him in jail for like 90 days. They go to show you, man, that you don't have any power. Terrence Crawford beat their Spaniard Mexicano, right? And guess what happened? Now he get pulled over at gunpoint. You remember, Canelo lost to two Jakes. He lost to Floyd Mayweather. He lost to Terrence Crawford. You know they got to stay. But the reason why I brought that up too, to let you know that our life hang in the balance. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. I'm sorry, not 15. 65 to 66. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shalt have none assurance of thy life. And that's what Bud had to go through. Bud had his hands up. I don't know what the officer said to him, but Bud said, I ain't reaching for no gun. His hands is in the fucking air. It's how you know the so-called white man, woman, and child, they are the Edomites. They are the Edomites. I forgot who it was. But they said, if you could convince the poorest white man that he's better than the richest black man, he'll give you all his money. Terrence Crawford is an Israelite living in Esau's queendom, whatever you want to call it. Multi-millionaire. Don't ride around with flashy cars and nothing like that. No big jewels and nothing like that. Don't have a big entourage around him like that. Same woman I think he got 6 kids, if I'm not mistaken. 6 kids from the same woman. I think it might be more. And they still together. Bud be in the hood wrestling all the folks, hanging around. I mean, everyday people, man, but got millions of dollars. And lo and behold, he come this low-level race soldier come up pointing a gun in his face. That's the power that they have right now. And there's nothing to be ashamed to say Esau is the supremacist. He is an Edomite supremacist. Oh, white supremacist. Because Job 9:24 said the earth been given to the hands of the wicked. So on both ends, you're the supreme because you're the most wicked. So they still got to wear that badge too. But nonetheless, though, there's nothing we can do without YAHAWASHI, you know. And Bud is a fighter. I bet man to man Bud probably could take the dude, but in this society, what, they hold the badge. The biggest gang members on earth is the United States Police Department. I said it right. Yeah, I did. Talking about gang violence, CK was talking about gang violence, gang. The biggest killers on earth are you Edomites. Even during the transatlantic slave trade, you changed the slave trade. You changed the O2 emissions. You changed the migration pattern of sharks on the boats. From the boats, I mean, from either us throwing over dead bodies or our people saying it's dishonorable to go into slavery. And you had a lot of us that was chained together that just jumped off the boat. Come on, man. But nonetheless, understand this. Romans chapter 12 verse 18 through 21. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. So you just keep doing good. Just keep doing your part. Right? Remember this, y'all. What would YAHAWASHI do? What would the Messiah do? What would Mashiach do? You can't control what they say, think, or feel, but you can control what you say, what you think, and how you feel. They're gonna do their part as being the low-level demons they are. You just do your part by rising above it. Verse 21. Romans 12 and 21. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. And it's all like, what can Esau do if you in order? What does it mean in order? You first and foremost, you can comply with what YAHAWASHI say, and everything else will follow after. That's why they have a Latin phrase called ordo ab chaos. If there isn't chaos, why do I have to get you in order? Like they teach you in school to stand in a single file line as order. If everybody just running up to the alley cart trying to get cookies and juices and stuff, there's a lot of chaos, a lot of disorder here. It's cacophonous here. Let's bring some decorum. Let's bring some structure. All right. So the powers to be are controlled by the Most High. Therefore, agree with thy adversary, which Bud did, you know. Deuteronomy chapter. I say, why I keep going back to Deuteronomy? Like all these priests say, why keep going back to Deuteronomy? Huh? Why you keep running from me? Alright, Romans chapter 13, verse 1 through 2, and I'm going to close out. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there was no power but of God, Yahweh. The powers that be are ordained of God. The powers to be are ordained of God. Let that sink in. So, Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. If the wicked rule in the world, well, you know damn well they're not gonna play by the right. They're not gonna play by the right rules. Which is why they had to create a damn Geneva Code for warfare. Esau is a degenerate. The things they've done to us in hardcore slavery, man. There's a book called the Delectable Negro. They used to eat us. They used to also use our skin as leather. They would castrate the men's genitalia, and they would fight over it and put them in mason jars and hang them on their sit them on their mantles as souvenirs. I mean, think about it. You know how they would kill a buck, a deer, or a bear, and take the heads off and they'll preserve it and put it over their fireplace. Yeah, they did the same thing with the Negro male's testicles. Right. Where you think pickles come from? Because how else you gonna preserve decaying flesh? You had to put it in vinegar or something. That's where you think pickles come from. Cucumbers. These people are evil, man. They're the devil. But that's how angry the Lord is at his people. Because the covenant and the promises, the kingdom of heaven is still for us, but we have to still live out or play out this sentence in this prison that we're in, known as America. Okay? So let me continue on. I'm going to close out. Romans chapter 13, verse 2. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of the Most High. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. So at the end of the day, the powers to be are controlled by the Most High on high, YAHAWAH, and his only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI. We understand where we are, but we know where we're going, and that's to the kingdom of heaven. So stay